Peace. Peace to the family. What's up, y'all? It's your brother, Mr. Holism, giving y'all a little live stream tonight. I happen to be off of work, and whenever I'm off of work, I think I'm the happiest person on the planet. I don't think anybody is as happy to be off as work off of work as I am. I challenge you if you think that you're a happier person than me. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in with me tonight. Um, I'm waiting for my brother, Minister DeWood. So I'm not going to start talking until he gets here. So just bear with me. I'm going to go on mute until Minister DeWood pops up. So I'm still here. Don't worry. But I'm waiting for him because I cannot do this show without him. This is something that is unique to both me and his experiences on this conscious cultural conscious journey, as we should say. So just bear with me a second, okay? All right, there he is. The only thing you gotta do, brother, is change your avatar because you got a blank one.
Okay. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Edit audio avatar. Avatar will be used when your camera is off. Nigga. Photo library.
Brother DeWood.
Trying to be kind of what urban.
Brother man.
Word, actual side, choose. There you go. Apply. I'll do that for now. That works.
There you go.
Good money.
There you go. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm excellent. I'm off of work. I got a chance to go to bed, get some sleep. I'm ready to go.
Let's do this.
All righty, y'all. So let me read the description of the show. Well, the title of the show is Culture Conscious Community. It's Your Fault. The right wing is winning the culture war in America, and the Republican Party is gaining unprecedented traction with black folks in America. This dynamic lies squarely on the shoulders of the so called left in America from a broader perspective. But more specifically, you can place the blame for this phenomenon squarely on the shoulders of the so called cultural conscious community when it comes to black folks in America. Why? because they failed to capitalize on the obvious and predictable failure of the Democratic Party for Black folks in America. They failed to provide the no brainer solution of land, infrastructure, nationhood, and socioeconomic and political control over the context of our collective reality as an alternative to the rugged, individualistic, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, every man and woman for themselves, right wing ideology. Culture conscious community, welcome to your brainchild. And that's the point of this live stream. And if anybody wonders what the list means, let me just put it like this. Culture conscious community. You know what happens when you don't map out a future for Black people? You know what happens when you allow mouth breathers to run with the globe because you're too incompetent? You know what happens? Culture conscious community, you just made the list. That's why this is on here. They made the list of Harlem, and we're going to have a discussion on this. So was that a good intro? You think that sums it up?
Pretty much.
So let me ask you, brother. I'm going to ask you first. We're going to give you a chance to rock.
Sure.
How would you describe your journey with the culture conscious community from the beginning of the time that when you first got involved in it to right now? And I know that's a big one.
Right.
But I'm just trying to get an overview of where you are right now in relationship to that culture conscious community.
Oh no, I could do that with ease. I can, because I talk about it all the time, so it just comes very easy to me. The beginning of my experience with the culture conscious community was, of course, with the Nation of Islam, and in the beginning, I felt very good that there was a framework for Black people to be free, as far as what we talked about, learning about ourselves, doing business amongst ourselves. And, the idea of building a nation within a nation was very exciting to me. But I found out very soon that nation within a nation idea, well, I can't say very soon. Over the course of years, I found out that was actually, what would they call it? A pipe dream. And that it's something that, and mind you, I don't feel like the people who first came up with the nation within the nation idea were insincere or ignorant. I don't think they were charlatans. I think they just didn't know any better. I think that they would fully saw the results of the big three, meaning Marcus Garvey's movement, Moorish Science Temple movement, and then Nation of Islam, and they saw what they were able to do in the 50s, 60s, 40s, 30s, whatever. And they thought all we had to do was come together, be strong, and we could do that. But what they did not realize is the reason why those movements all died is because there was something put in place to allow you to build something, give the people hope, and then take it away from them. So over the course of time, what I saw was a lot of people who put their hard-earned time, you know what I'm saying, sacrifice their family, their children, whatever. I saw them become bitter because what they were promised never really came to being. And so what I see today in our age group, I see a lot of people who feel like they were cheated. And I don't think that you necessarily were cheated, but what I do think is this. I think over the course of time, so many people gave up that they began to basically just try to cash in on the movement and use the energy and desire of the people for personal gain. And so and I hope I'm not getting ahead of myself, but when we talk about the left versus the right and how the right is gaining traction, it's only a reaction to me. It's not really based in really serious thought. And I know a lot of people who follow the right think that they have serious thought, but I don't think you really thought this through, because the people who represent the right don't mean good for me and you. So I think that, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. What I see today is I see a young generation that doesn't really have connection to those of us who were there before. And to be very honest with you, don't want a connection with us because they feel like we squandered it. They could do it themselves, but they really don't know what the fuck they're doing. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know what they're doing because, maybe at some point during this live stream, we'll get into Candace Owens' documentary on Black Lives Matter. bro, from what I've heard, scorched earth.
Yeah, but my thing with that is it's like what like you're telling us this now. Like why
Right,
did she
right.
even need to do a documentary? We already know that those people are charlatans.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a dead movement. It came and it went.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's almost like, you know what this is, bro? To me, this is 125th Street kind of shit. It's entertainment where you're Monday morning quarterbacking. You're talking about how we got our asses kicked. Something
yeah.
that you like to talk about all the time. You and I and all of our family in the BAIO, we already knew Black Lives Matter was what it was. It started out as a very novel concept. I was excited for the youth, even though it wasn't my cup of tea, because
Hmm.
it was built off of principles that you and I didn't do. I talked about this in many different areas. I even talked about this in at a domestic violence class because it was a feminist based organization giving the class, and I was basically there for the certification. But
Hmm.
in that class, they claimed to be progressive and woke. So you had some white people in there, and they was talking about black white guilt and how we got to be for the blacks. And I said, listen, I said, you guys have your movement. I said, we don't necessarily agree with your movement, but I'm not going to diss it because I'm going to allow you to do it how you feel like you're going to do it. There's some positive to it, but there's a lot of negatives. And
Hmm.
so I think that they are disconnected from us in a way because we didn't take advantage. We really didn't take advantage of the groundswell that we had, and we squandered it.
Yeah. And it was so, and the thing that made me want to do this with you is that this was so predictable.
Right.
This was so predictable. And the running theme throughout the whole history of our time in this country and the cultural conscious community is the inability to do what's needed to take things to the next level.
Yes.
I think I
Absolutely.
can fairly say this, and I think that this is accurate. The BAIO is the culmination of the natural organic culmination of the conscious community.
Truth be told. Truth be told.
I said
BAIO
if we yeah, go ahead.
BAIO is exactly how it should have looked. Is
Right.
how it should have looked because instead of fighting each other in the BIO, we have every element of black life. We got religion, we've got gender, we've got sexual preference, we got all of that stuff under one umbrella, working together and not fighting each other. That's what you brothers and sisters said that you wanted, but you really didn't want that.
Right. Because it exists. The infrastructure for what you said you wanted exists right now, and yet you're not a part of it. Yet you can
Right,
find every excuse in the world to not be a part of it.
right, right, right. I think that most honestly, what took over from consciousness is everybody's interest in the gender war that
Mhm.
most people said is over, but really isn't over. It really is not over. Like Kevin Samuels used to say, the gender war is over. Gender war, it's not over. It's just really beginning. It's not over. We're still fighting each other over these very small differences that we have that you don't give the context of the background to. So in other words, like, and I know that sounds like living color gobbledygook until you really break it down. We have the problems that we have with the men and the women that we have because of the context in which we live in. And I get tired of saying that shit, so I don't even say it no more.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I remember you came on my post the other day when I was talking about how people were putting out false information about this Migos death and how
Mhm.
everybody was jumping to comment on it. And you know what I'm saying? You accurately depicted that, you know what I'm saying? Basically, people are acting as Americans, they're not acting as Africans. Most people would look at your comment and think you was a fanatic and you didn't know what you was talking about. But if they
Right.
understood you and us and what we believe in, then they would know you're not talking about necessarily a title. You're talking about a context and a cultural framework that we're trying to build. Am I
Right.
right or am I wrong?
You're correct.
So yeah, you could
You're
sit there and you could
100%
talk
correct.
about Kyrie Irving, or you could talk about Kanye West, or you could talk about the Migos and why they're dying. Well, why are your rappers of your generation dying? Because we're still here. And the reality of it is that as long as we're still here, this is a framework that's set up to make us fight each other while other people progress. That's what it's set up to do. And because it's set up to do that and it works so well, they don't even have to watch it anymore. It's still working. So yes, you're gonna have a rap group, and I didn't listen to them because I'm not connected to that generation at that like that. But I understood that my children love them. So you'll have a rap group called the Migos, and they'll come up and they'll make good music that young people like and people will like them. And then eventually they'll die because we're getting to the point now where there's no real respect for any kind of black culture. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People, I wish Max 611 was on this line because me and him have had the kind of a debate about this, even though I know he agrees with us to some degree. But he was saying, well, rappers were dying when we were younger too. Not at this rate, bro.
No,
Not at this
definitely
rate.
not. Definitely not. You can't compare it. I wish that he
Right.
was online because I would challenge him on that. You can't. Like you're talking about major people getting off, like no, and not
no
even
way,
major
man.
people in general. It's like rap should not be a hazardous career path.
Right.
It shouldn't be. But the problem with hip hop is that let's look at the movies.
Okay.
People love Scarface, right?
Mm-hmm.
People love Tony Montana. And I love Tony Montana. I thought Tony Montana was one of the greatest movie characters ever. Like I love what Al Pacino did with that character. But it's a movie.
Right.
If you see Al Pacino in the street, he don't have to act like Tony Montana in order for him to have legitimacy. He's an actor.
Right. Right.
The problem with hip hop is that it's sort of similar. No, even I was going to say wrestling, but even wrestling fans know the lines. They know
like where you're
this
going.
is a character.
I really like where you're going with this. I like where you're going with
this is a character that you're playing. Like if you see Dwayne Johnson, yeah, he's called The Rock, but it's Dwayne Johnson.
Bro,
you see.
Before you go any further, I got to ask you one question real quick.
Yeah.
Did you see Black Adam yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, well let's keep going.
I'm going to see it.
Please do.
But yeah,
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's like the only thing, but in hip hop, we think that the people that we hear on record are actually real.
Right.
That's the difference. Yep. It's like I remember, and I keep making this point all the time. When Snoop Dogg was in court, getting ready to face some joints, Snoop Dogg's lawyer said, "Listen, that's Snoop Doggy Dogg on that album. This is Calvin Brodus."
Right.
He made sure to make that distinction when his ass was getting ready to go to jail.
Yep, this fool was like a father.
We blur these lines. Yeah, right. That's Snoop Dogg is crazy. That ain't Calvin.
Right. Right.
So that's the problem. It's like we take this stuff like, all right, this what sums it up for me. And rest in peace to the brother.
Yes.
First of all, and foremost, because when I know about the group, because I've heard about them and I've heard their music. And I know them, like I've seen them and I know them. So when I heard that the guy got killed, I was like, what?
Word.
It was shocking to me. So I posted it up. But this sums it up. This is to me 100% laid at the foot of the conscious community. You know how much this kid was worth?
$26 million, bro.
$26 million. And he's playing a fucking, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
He's playing a dice game.
Yeah, son. Yes.
$26 million, and he's paying it. Now let's juxtapose that against what the BIO suggests.
Right.
Imagine we're in Liberia, our own government, our own laws, our own thriving economy. All of our millionaires and billionaires are on that continent, creating a better life for everybody. Do you think how old was he?
He was definitely in his 20s, I think.
20-year-old, whatever, worth $26 million is going to be rolling dice in Liberia?
Not at all. Like,
let's talk about we glamorizing this culture that we have here. And see, this is the thing. I got to make this distinction because I think that this is what makes us different than the right-wing conservatives in America, even though people might, on a surface level, think we're saying the same thing.
Right.
The difference is the black conservative in America doesn't want to have their own socioeconomic and political context. The black conservative in America is conserving a white power base, pushing this American dream, 2.5 kids in the house, and all this bull crap that's really just supporting the status quo of white people.
Right. And
And then they're
complaining that you
sitting
can't get it.
right, and then sitting here complaining that, oh, why? Well, the problem is the family, the black family, and this is we don't and the culture, and get the fuck out of here. All you're doing is maintaining the status quo of white people. Now, the difference between them and us is, yes, we believe in the family. Yes, we think that the family is very important, but the family doesn't exist in a freaking vacuum.
Right.
The family exists within a socioeconomic and political context. And what we want is to control that context, because guess what? If you control the context, you can control what the culture produces.
Right. Right. And let me add to that. The family, as I've said before, but I need to say it again, 2-parent families are not no fucking digital bullet. Stop acting like that is the end all be all. If we would only be family, we wouldn't have no problems here. Are you serious? Are you serious? Do you know how many damaged children come out of 2-parent households? That is not the digital bullet. The digital bullet is the context.
Right.
Period. The digital bullet is not just because that's what they try to make it seem, and that is a planned, manufactured distraction to make you think that all you got to do is this, and we would be good money. And then they point to some past and act like it was harmonious. Nigga, the past that you're talking about, we were struggling in. Well, what about this era? Oh yeah, we were struggling in that area too. Well, what about this era? We were struggling in that era too. There's no era where these existed where we weren't struggling. There's no era where we didn't have 10 times the stress. There was no era where it wasn't 10 times harder for us to become financially middle class. Not rich, but middle class. There's no era in which we didn't feel like we weren't 100%. It's like, I always tell people when they try to talk to me about this kind of thing, I always say to them, I say, listen, all you have to do is go to a black neighborhood, drive through the neighborhood, right, where there's houses, look at the porch. Then go through a white neighborhood and drive through the area, look at the porches. 9 times out of 10, every 3 houses in the white neighborhood is going to have an American flag up. Black people that don't believe in nationhood, don't believe in black power, anything like that, still don't have no flag on their porches. Why? Because consciously, we have never, ever felt like we was a part of this country. And I don't give a fuck where you come from. You could be Christian, you could be Muslim, Jew, you could be agnostic, you could be totally into integration, whatever it is you into. You will not go to no black community and see 3 out of 4 porches with an American flag on it, because the conscience of the black man in America has never told him, you belong here. You can say that shit out of your mouth, but as my mentor always says, your life tells me different. And if you go into a stone cold white neighborhood, you're going to see proud American flags on the porch because they believe that this is theirs, they're a part of it, and they control it. You do not see that in the ghetto. And you damn sure don't see that in affluent black neighborhoods. If you go to an affluent black neighborhood, you're going to see 1 flag on the block. You go to a white neighborhood, you may see 10 flags. Why? The flag, I was taught a long time ago, the flag represents a nation. The flag also represents your heart. So you put a flag up according to where your heart is at. And like I said, these black people who don't believe in nationhood, black power, black consciousness, or anything like that, still don't have no fucking American flag on their porch. Why? Because we never thought that we was fully a part of this country. And when Michelle Obama articulated by accident what we all think, when she said, when they was getting ready to vote for Barack Obama, what did she say? This is the first time I was proud of my country. That shit shocked the shit out of white people. They wasn't ready for that. And they thought that was just Michelle Obama saying that. No, she was talking for all of us. Which, you know, I didn't think that I was part of the country, but I'm just saying that what she was articulating was, we have never felt like we was a part of this.
That's an excellent point you just raised.
Thank you, good brother.
Excellent point. And I'm going to use it. Sorry. I'm going to borrow that from you because that was so good. It's like the family, they like, and that's so true what you said. They want to make it seem like that's a magic bullet or something.
Right.
It's still the context. And see, this is a nice slick trick that they play. They want to make it seem as if the reason for our problems is because of the family.
Right.
The reason for our problems is because we don't control the context of the family. It's not the family. It's the context that we don't control. And that's glad you made that point, because that's an excellent point that most people don't come to realize it, because conservatism within itself is maintenance of the status quo.
Right.
So, I made this point before. The reason why Black folks in America gravitate toward the left is because when you have no power within a context, your issue is obtaining power.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to look for things that's going to benefit the poor people, benefit the people that's downtrodden and whatever. That's your policies because you want to be, you want things to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
When you control the context, you want to maintain the status quo.
Right.
So I've always said, I really don't understand. Well, I do, but I'm saying I really don't get why white people are liberal in America. This is your country.
Yep.
I totally understand the Republican. I understand the conservative.
Me too.
They take offense when you talk about America because why wouldn't you? If we were in Liberia and somebody was talking shit about Liberia, we'd be more conservative. We'd be like Fox News right now.
Yeah, we want to stomp them out. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to look at what's liberal, what's conservative, what's right wing, and what's left wing depends on the context.
Indeed.
But fundamentally, Black folks are conservative. Fundamentally. And that's the reason why I saw this coming a mile away. I saw it coming a mile away because the liberals were able to keep our Black people for so long because the right wingers were just batshit crazy.
Right.
And Black people was like, nah, they hate me, and I know they hate me, but I ain't fucking with them because they're not going to work in my interest.
Right.
But what did the right winger do? Because like I said, a system adapts. So what did they do? They threw out Black people who were making solid points against what the left and the liberals were doing to the Black community. Nobody can say that Candace Owens is wrong when she talks about the Democratic Party.
Right.
So what the conscious community has done is given people like Candace Owens, who's a charlatan, who's a grifter. Let's just keep it real. That's what it is.
Make no mistake.
She's found a hustle, found a lane, and she's using that to make money. I don't fuck with her. I don't get triggered by her because I know exactly what she is. I know what she's doing. Doesn't bother me. But the fact that this lady is given legitimacy, when you start passing around Candace Owens and you start hearing, oh, Candace Owens telling the truth, blame that on the cultural conscious community.
Okay, so let's get into why we're saying that, because I think that the people who are with us understand what we're saying, but I don't think that newcomers will understand.
Right.
See, what y'all don't understand is if y'all are young in your 20s or something like that, you don't know the amount of people we had back in the day. You don't know the amount of influence we had back in the day. You don't know the widespreading touch we had. You know, we were touching Black people in France, Africa, you know what I'm saying, all over the country with this cultural conscious movement that really swelled during the 2000s. And, it was like it was in the 80s and 90s, but it really swelled in the 2000s because there was much more points of view that was reaching people via, as far as I'm concerned, social media, specifically Blog Talk Radio. And what happened is when we got this groundswell, instead of turning it into something tangible, we decided to turn it into something monetary and prestige-like so that we could benefit ourselves. Nobody really did it for everybody. So the Sonettas of the world, they put money in their pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like I could call them various different names, but people use that groundswell for their own personal benefit. And what they started doing was charging people for classes. How the fuck is you gonna charge somebody for a class about their freedom? That should always really, you know what I'm saying? That should always kind of rub me the wrong way. Like I'm gonna charge your ass, $3,000 so you can learn about your own freedom. Like what?
And you ain't free.
Exactly.
You teaching it to me in the jail cell.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So paperwork became popular. So of course, because you're still in the context, they pivoted and they said, okay, we're gonna call you niggas paper terrorists. You know what I'm saying? So then after that, then it was like, okay, well, it's about spirituality. So then they pivoted and they made you look like a clown if you was into spirituality. Everything that you did they pivoted because you were still behind their force field. So when we say it's the fault of the cultural conscious community, what we're basically saying is that we had power to do something and we squandered it because instead of building something for everybody, we decided to build something for ourselves. So when you niggas hear us talk about Kanye West or Kyrie Irving and you get mad because we should support them, we should support them. Kyrie Irving and Kanye West, nigga, is not going to show up for you when you get fired for your job. They're not going to show up for you when you get railroaded in the street and you get clapped by the police because you had something in your hand and it looked like a gun. Kanye West and Kyrie, they're not going to show up for you. They're going to continue to make their money and say slick shit so you niggas can follow them in a cult way, but it's never going to be tangible. This is what we're trying to say. We're not trying to hate on a Kanye West or a Kyrie Irving, but we've been around long enough to see these kind of people come and go. And so we're trying to warn y'all, but y'all look at us like, oh, you know, we're haters, this, that thing. And let me say this, bro, if I'm not talking too much. Let me just say this. Another slick thing that I saw was the right eased pretty black woman into the fold in order to get us.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you could debate whether you think Candace Owens is attractive or not, but there's that other chick, I forget what her name is. She is bad. The one that was on welfare and worked her way up to the top, talking about I worked my way up by hand ups, not handouts. I forget what her name is, but she was on the Breakfast Club. And I was just like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they learned how to do. They understood nobody wanted to listen to Republican men. So what they did is they turned around and they gave you Republican women that were pretty, black Republican women, because nobody wanted to listen to Herman Cain or Ben Carson,
right,
or even that idiot Herschel Walker. So they said, oh, I know what I need to do. I'm going to slide some pretty ass Republican black women through there. And now y'all going to look. And so I got this one dude on my timeline and he's like, oh man, I love Candace Owens. She's so attractive. I wish I could go on a date with her. I'm like, nigga, first of all, she's married. And second of all, you really feel that way because she's pretty? You like what she's saying?
That's all it takes.
And it's a Trojan horse.
Yeah, that's all it takes. And you know that a half lie is worse than a lie.
Right. Yep.
Because what it'll do is it'll give people the cover of truth while they have their own insidious agenda.
Right.
So, like I said, you can't just say, like, all right, when Kanye West and Candace Owens put on a shirt that says White Lives Matter, and then they get interviewed, and then they start talking about Black Lives Matter was a scam. Is anybody going to jump up and say, well, you're wrong? How dare you?
Nope. Nope.
So this is the problem with half-truths. It's not that these people are just out and out lying. They're pointing to obvious contradictions within the cultural conscious community. And I consider Black Lives Matter a part of the cultural conscious community. It may not be involved in spirituality or whatever, but it's all a part of that Black power movement in America.
Indeed. And originally, it was a legitimate part. Originally.
Right.
We both agree on that. It morphed into something that was illegitimate, but in the beginning, it was something that I loved. I did. Yeah. I wasn't a part of it, but I loved because I was very distraught at what our young people would do and how they would look. And when I saw that they mobilized on that level, I was like, oh shit, okay, young people, I'm down with that. And then all that other shit got involved. And I was just like, oh man, here we go again.
Yeah, they took it and they you know, like if you don't have wisdom in your ranks, and you know, people can talk all they want to about old people and or elders. The problem is you're picking the wrong elders.
Right.
Trust me. Yep. There's elders out here who's with you.
Right.
And they with you, and they're not soft, and they're not afraid to get their hands dirty. There's plenty of elders like that. And you know who they are? Those are the elders that you're talking about been fighting since they've been on planet Earth. Like me and you.
Yep.
We're elders.
Yep.
We're elders in the cultural conscious community. Do you hear us talking like this nonsense that the rest of these get what they say, get along, go along with the get along and all this other beat? We don't talk that. We're talking socio-economic and political context. We want to control the freaking piece of territory that we live on. We want to have our laws. We want to have our government, our enforcement all of that stuff. We want to control that.
Mm-hmm.
That's our vision for the future of Black people. What is the vision of the future for Black people for the cultural conscious community? And like I said before, the cultural conscious community ain't even African. There's people that would rather claim space in a freaking planet than Liberia.
Yep.
There's people that think that they're descendants of aliens. They would claim that rather than claiming a place. Now, when I think about Liberia and I think about what our ancestors did, it's like everything is in place for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I look at Liberia like a house that needs renovation.
Right.
That's all I see. I see the basic infrastructure is there. It has everything. It has the airport, has a seaport. You know what I'm saying? It has the infrastructure to build and improve upon roads and highways and all that other. Everything is in place. They did all the work for us.
Right. Yo, you know what I'd like to do? Let's take some of the popular shit that niggas is talking about and inject nationhood in it. Because I think that would attract more people. So first of all, let's talk about the passport bro idea. Are you familiar with that?
I'm way familiar. I actually did a video. Like, you remember the cognitive dissonance theory?
Yep.
I talked about that. It's like when we start talking about having a nation overseas, what do we hear from these people? Oh, well, you can't do that. Africans hate us. These people hate us. You can't go. If you go over there, it's going to be war. Okay. Right. And then these same people turn around and go overseas for some ass.
Yes, I was going to say, let me say it like a Scorpio. You would rather go over there for some pussy than for a nation. that makes sense to you. That makes total sense to you.
And all the stuff that you told us we was going to do doesn't apply to you now.
Exactly. Like, they don't hate your dick. They just hate you. Right? Right? I look at that, but here's the positive side of it. You are going... You don't even realize what the fuck you are doing. You are going to another country to find a woman or a man, and you're saying to yourself it's because they were raised in what? Another context. You don't even realize that you're making our point by doing this. You're going over there to deal with somebody because they were raised in another context. So therefore, if that applies to your mating strategy, it should also apply to you getting along with your people. It should apply to you using your skills. It should apply, but you only want to do it there. So here's what I'm finding out that's happening, and it makes me laugh. Every week they put out a new video about some nigga that either went to Dominican Republic or whatever. He got robbed. Right? He was over there. He moved over there. He found some chick that he liked over there. And so he moved over there, set up shop, and they robbed his ass, whooped his ass, took his money and all this other stuff. Nigga, why you think that happened? It happened because you tried to do something by yourself. Mm-hmm. And you moved into a foreign land and people took advantage of you. You didn't roll deep like you were supposed to. You didn't have any investment. You didn't try to control something. You just tried to poach is what you tried to do. So what is different between you doing that over here and doing it over there? There's really no difference to me. And you get the same result, which is eventually the walls come crumbling down on you. When you try to build a nation in America, eventually the walls come crumbling down on you. When are y'all going to get the message?
Yeah.
You can have your own black woman over here in America with a different context if in fact you invested in building a nation someplace else that you could control. You could have exactly what you was looking for going to these foreign countries. But instead, you like to follow some nigga on YouTube that told you it's going to be different. And then you go over there, and then some people, even the woman that they get, is fleecing them. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I heard one story, man, that shit had me rolling on the floor. Dude was like, listen, when you go to the Dominican Republic, or even if you go to Thailand, what ends up happening is that these chicks are already married. These are married women, but they understand that they got to give you a little bit of scratch. Y'all figure out what scratch means. And you start giving them money, and then they give it to their whole family. Well, what the fuck you think you're doing over there then? You could have paid for something over here. I don't see what the difference is. I really don't.
We keep running from the solution because like if you look on the screen, these Negroes don't want solution because that means the bag ends. And there it is.
Right. That is true.
There it
That is true.
is. We keep running from what the solution is to the problem, and then we fight and complain about why there's the state of the culture. So right now, the right wingers are taking over.
Right.
And do
Yep.
you think that that benefits us? You think that our community is going to improve?
Right. Nope.
Nothing's going to happen. All it's going to do is going to have some shows where everybody can start talking about the family. We need the black man and the black woman to get married and have children and da 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 da. As if that means anything in a context where you don't even have a freaking living wage in place.
Right.
You don't even
Yo,
have
son.
health care in place.
Yo, son. Have you seen this meme? This is a new meme that pisses me the fuck off. The clocks are gonna go back next week. I wish mine went back to when we had morals, standards, culture. Did you see that meme?
No, but it's
Yo,
so typical.
that fucking meme pisses me off, son.
Yeah.
Who, first of all, are you somebody that had standards, morals, and
Thank
all
you.
that other stuff? That's question number one. Question number two is, what time are y'all talking about? What time are y'all talking about? Because I don't remember this time. I don't. Ever since I've been here in America, we have had these kind of problems that we have. It is just now that we have social media and 24-hour news cycle. It's in your face. But
Mhm.
and that's why I don't 100% disagree with what Mac was saying, but I just think it's on a larger scale now. So in other words, like remember our golden group, which is Sugar Hill Gang. Which
Mhm.
one of them got shot early? I think it was Cowboy that got shot for sheepskin coat, right?
You mean the Furious Five?
I thought it was Sugar Hill Gang. Somebody got shot and killed. I'm not. Maybe it was the Furious
No,
Five.
I think that was the Furious because Cowboys in the Furious Five.
Oh, okay. But I know somebody after Rapper's Delight, one of those brothers got shot and killed. I thought I could be wrong, but here's the
No,
thing.
I don't think it was Sugar Hill Gang. I think you might be talking about the Furious Five, and I'm trying
Okay,
to remember who that was. But you're right. You're
yeah,
right.
one of them got shot for like a sheepdog back in the day. But here's the thing: Big Daddy Kane got gray hair, Coogee Rap got gray hair, Rakim got gray hair, Karis One got gray hair. These are the godfathers of our movement. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But some people did get shot and killed. So now you got these young people and they getting shot and killed left and right. What does that tell you though?
And how
It
about
tells
this
you,
though? How about this? Just to
sure,
back up your
sure.
point. Um, of all the elders that you just mentioned, how many of them had $26 million and was in a corner playing dice or in some room?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
are we
see,
going to just ignore that too?
exactly. So, and oh man, that's a wonderful point because that leads us into this other thing, this academics dude. You are clowning the elders for quote unquote being dusty. My nigga, I must inform you. There's one difference between the elders and your current rappers. You know what that difference is? They are alive. They are alive, you fucking asshole. They are alive. So here it is. Oh, well, them elders is dusty, this, that, next thing. MC Shan was a crackhead and used all sorts of drugs. MC Shan is still doing live videos, still touring. You know what I'm saying? Your rappers can be drug free and still be dead. And the reason being, to me, I'm in the security space, so I see things that a lot of y'all don't see. It's getting worse out here. The pandemic has made things worse. And even though they're trying to say that the economy is rebounding and jobs are being created, people are not able to live. So this whole thing, you could blame it on the culture, but to me, it all goes back to the context, which is what black people were thinking that they were getting ahead. We were thinking that we were sliding into the middle class, and then a pandemic destroyed a lot of jobs and a lot of money opportunities, and now people are super desperate. And
Hmm.
because they're desperate, the easiest thing to do is to kill your own brother that you know got money. And he's already helping you out to kill him because he's going to post how much money he got. He's going to post where he's at. He's going to post what his children look like. He's going to post the inside of their house. So he's made it easy for you. But the bottom line is it's getting worse out here because I could tell you, being in the security space, people would go into shopping centers, which is what I primarily secure. They would go into shopping centers and steal back in the day. But now, holla, niggas is running out the doors with shopping carts full of food now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's getting so desperate. And let me tell you something, son, that most of y'all don't know. They are now installing devices at this is how bad it's got. They are now installing devices at the front doors that lock shopping carts if you don't go a certain way. You know what I'm saying? I can't really talk about it on air,
Oh, yeah.
but nevertheless, because so many people is running out the door with food that they installed a device that locks your wheels when you try to leave. That never happened before. We never had that. Can you
Right.
imagine how much money has to be invested for you to equip every shopping cart with a device that locks its wheels? That's a monumental cost.
Hmm.
And what it speaks to is the fact that things have gotten financially disastrous here. And y'all niggas is still trying to blame that on liberals. Y'all still
Yeah.
trying to blame that on liberals. As
Yeah.
if
And the
it's not
Republicans ain't even addressing it.
exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
what are you hearing on the conservative side, on the people who are these Kevin Samuels acolytes? Oh, you gotta improve yourself. You gotta build up your wealth. It's like wealth, nigga.
Right?
What world are you living in?
Right. Right.
Build up your wealth how? How is the average person when they say the average salary in America is what, 50,000?
Yep.
If that,
Yep.
building up wealth.
And that's not us. Our average salary is $26,000, son.
Yeah.
Black people. Black people. Black people.
Anything with
Average
the
salary is
average is,
twenty
you
six
just
thousand
take it and
dollars.
make it less for us. That's the basic rule of thumb.
Yeah, it's half, basically, right?
Yeah,
Because
30. I
50
think it's
it's
30. I'll be nice. I think it's 30.
well, that's only $4,000 off.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
30,000.
nevertheless, yeah, like and listen, you and I have both made $30,000 in our lives. We would
Mhm.
probably jump off a bridge if we was making $30,000.
Oh no, I wouldn't be able to maintain my lifestyle if I had a $30,000 job.
You and me both. You and me both. And we're not being sarcastic, y'all. We wouldn't. So if
I'm
that is
living
the
in New York City, just like you. You
yep,
know, within New York, like you. So you like people to you to live comfortably in New York City. You got to be making at least six figures or close to it.
yes, without a doubt, without a doubt, for you to breathe in New York City,
Yeah.
that's just crazy. You know. Oh, listen, Chima Madhu said they will say there is too much welfare. That's exactly what they say. That's exactly what they say.
Yeah, they'll call
That's
it a
exact.
set aside or a giveaway or whatever. And in case nobody knows this, I think, because sometimes we don't realize that we're talking to new people as well, instead of us
Mm-hmm,
talking to our echo chamber.
mm-hmm.
Um, what people don't realize about the conservative movement. Oh shit, I lost my train of thought. Go ahead, take it over. It'll come back to me.
I'll give you the probably the party line you was going over was there's too much welfare. So you probably was going to say something about the entitlements. What they call it entitlements and
Oh
shit.
yeah, thank you.
No
that's
doubt.
that's what I was gonna say. Um, it's only called welfare when it's a government subsidy for poor people.
Right, right, right. Not when it's a corporate what do you call it
Corporate
handout or what
welfare.
do they call it?
Yeah. They call it government subsidy.
Bailout. There you go, bailout. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
You know when it's a corporate bailout, that's not welfare.
right. Those are government subsidies. That's the terminology that they use for the money that they give to corporations. But when it comes to poor
Right.
people, that's a set aside. That's a giveaway. You're just giving away, not realizing that poor people pay taxes.
Yeah. Yes.
So you're not giving them nothing.
Right. Poor
They're
people
giving
are the
back what they put
spenders.
into the system. Right.
Because I can tell you this much, man. When I used to be out there, this is a rule of thumb. When I used to be out there selling papers, selling fish, and selling bean pies or whatever, the people who were the most generous, gave the greatest tips, and never gave you no argument was poor people. It was the
Hmm.
people that had money that would say, "Man, your fish is $5 a bag. What do I get for $5? Nigga, I'm at your front door. What are you talking about? You you didn't have to go to the grocery store. I came to your front door with a bag of fish. It's already cut up and filleted, and you bitching about $5? I remember one day I went to this one dude's house. It was a castle, and he goes, "So how much is your fish?" I was like, "It's fucking $5, nigga. I say this to you every week." He goes, "I don't think I have that type of money."
Wow. Well, they've
That
had
type of
studies
money.
on this. they've had studies on this that they said that on an average, if people make, they say about 70,000 on an average, that
Mm-hmm.
your happiness doesn't increase if you make more than that. So let's say you make 70 and then you
Mm-hmm.
have a person that makes 150 or 200 or whatever. It's like their level of happiness doesn't increase with the amount of money that they have.
Right, right. And you know something, son? I'm so glad you brought that up because I did a live last week. It was called Confessions of a Workaholic. And this is the
Mhm.
one point that I didn't really get to develop. How much money do you need for you and your family to be happy?
Mm.
And people throw out because of the gender war, people say, I want to make $150,000. Okay, well, you're telling me, like you just said, Holla, you're telling me that you wouldn't be happy off 70? No, 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 I got to have $150,000. And then you ask them why, right? You ask them why, and they can't give you a solid answer because you can still put your child into some form of ballet, some form of basketball, football camp, all that stuff, making $70,000. So you're saying that you need 150. Why? So you could basically floss on your family, is what it is. You know what I mean? And when we are chasing that kind of money, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, when we're chasing that kind of money and you don't necessarily have a high income skill that you could charge like $2,000-3,000 an hour, then what does
Mhm.
that mean? That means you're going to put in an ungodly amount of hours, which means that your black ass is going to get sick. And not
Yep.
only will you get sick, but you will be a fucking asshole to be around. So it's a hamster wheel because you
Yep.
said, and mind you, brothers and sisters, me, Big Daoud, and Hollip, we are not speaking against money. Both of us make money. Both of us want money. Both of us are about money. Okay, so we're not one of these liberals trying to speak against money and wealth, but we're just being realistic. And I had a conversation with my dad years ago, and he said to me, he said, you know, basically at the height of his business, he made like $125,000 a year when he was in Fulton Street, right? He said, but black people really don't make no money. And I remember hearing that, and everything in my body was against what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean black people don't make no money? But now that I'm older and I look around, I realize even if we're making good money, we still are paying some kind of price for the money that we're making. And that's one of the reasons why nationhood makes sense, brothers and sisters, because you want to be able to live a comfortable lifestyle, but you don't want to come down with cancer and all of these autoimmune diseases and all of these kind of different things that you come because you have been busting your ass and your immune system is weak and you have not really ate well and all these other things. And at the end of the day, what do you have to show for it? Well, I was making six figures. My nigga, now you got 25 pills you got to take in the morning. 50 pills you got to take at night because you've been chasing the bag.
Hmm.
And the older you get, the more you realize. You said something to me, man, that I will never forget the other day. You said, now that I'm older, I just want experiences. When I was
Yeah.
younger, it was about possessions. But now that I'm older, and you know something, son, once I turned 50, I was like you. I said, damn, that's why on my Facebook page, all you see is pictures of places that I've been. I am
Hmm.
saving memories. I'm not taking pictures of $10 or $20. I'm not taking pictures of big checks I may get off of a camera job. I'm taking pictures of scenery because long after that fucking money goes away, I'm going to remember the experiences.
That's the reason why I will be in Atlanta November 11th through the 14th, and I will be with my BAIO family in Atlanta. And I am looking, I am, I don't give a damn what it took for me to get there. I'm going. And we're going to see the Black Panther movie. We're going out to dinner. I'm going to get to hang out with the people that I talk to all the time. And that's what, to me, that's, I can't even put a figure on what that
Priceless.
means.
That's
It's
priceless,
priceless.
son. Yep. Yep. I still have pictures of that dinner that we had in 2018. It was me, you, Kofi,
Hmm.
somebody I won't mention because this fat
Hmm.
ass ain't with us no more. Um, Max 611, who's my brother for life. You know what I'm saying?
Chad was there.
My Yep. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Chad came in at the very end. I love Chad. You know I love Chad. You know what I'm saying? Me and Chad had a standoffish relationship in the beginning because I don't think he understood me. But I am
Hmm.
100% pro Chad. That's my boy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And he brought Chad energy to it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like was already having the conversation, but Chad brought Chad energy to it, which you got to be around Chad to understand what that means. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it was priceless. It was priceless. And then we went
Yeah,
shopping
that's what
after
I
that
think
on
about.
on gentrified 125th, which also meant something to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's like I'm looking forward to when me, you, and Ronan get to hang out.
Word.
That's what, because
Word.
we've been trying to plan that for the longest and we haven't done it, and it's because of where you guys live. But when we
Right.
get that together, that's going to be an experience for me. That's what I'm looking forward to. Those
And
are
Big
the
Brother
things
R.
that I pay attention to, and right, and Big Brother are.
Yeah.
Those are the things
Word
that
up.
I'm looking forward to. Not making money, because me and my cousin, like I said, we're not anti-money. We're not anti-wealth. As a matter of fact, that's the reason why we're so big into Liberia, because Liberia is the perfect breeding ground for wealthy Black people.
Mm-hmm.
Because the land is cheap. You can purchase land and get land, and you can build. Oh, to get back to the point that you were making about people going overseas by themselves.
Right.
Do you not realize? I don't know if these guys not realize, and there's solutions to every problem that everybody says is a problem. You could take 20 Black people. I may be giving away too much, but who cares at this point? It doesn't matter.
They're
You
not
can
gonna
take
follow
20
anyway,
Black
so
people, right? You can take 20 Black people who pull their resources together, go over to the continent, and I just use any African country. Go over there and build yourself a small community, and you can have security. You know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? You
Yep.
can have a freaking police force.
Yep.
You can have all of that. It's right there. It's nothing stopping. And do you know what? If you were to purchase a house in New York City alone, you're talking about anywhere, and I'm being nice, 750 to $1 million
Yes. Yep.
or more.
Yep.
Do you know what you can get? Now you're talking about for one person purchasing one property.
Mm-hmm.
If 20 people had the ability to purchase that level, like let's say they get a house for something like, I'll be on an average $500,000, and you had 20 people who had the ability to purchase a $500,000 house, but they do it on the continent.
Mm-hmm.
What that community would look like?
Right. Man, bro. Man. Yep.
And the thing about the continent is, and especially like a lot of these countries that don't have a thriving economy, anything that you create that benefits the people are going to participate in, and the people are going to protect you.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Because they know this person brings value.
Right, right. The people strike back when they think that you fleecing them. That's what I'm trying to tell
Right.
y'all niggas.
Or when
So
you
you
over
go
there
over
sipping Mai Tais and chilling while everybody else is starving.
Exactly. Exactly. And you don't think they're gonna rob you? You deserve to be robbed.
That happens in America. You don't think it's going to happen in a place where you
Exactly.
got real poor people? Because people in
Exactly.
America ain't poor like
No,
that.
not at all. You can
When
go
when
into a
when
garbage
you
can.
live in a place in the projects where you have heat and running water and electricity, and your children are playing PlayStation, you ain't poor, nigga.
Exactly. Just because you got a couple of roaches don't mean that you living in a third world condition.
First world poor is a whole lot different than third world poor.
Hell yeah. I remember when I used to do Uber, it was this white chick I picked up one time, and she was saying that she grew up in Mexico. And she was saying, you think you have poverty here, you have seen nothing. She was
Exactly.
like, and I was like, she started telling me about poverty in Mexico, and she said, like, even just dental wise, like I think they had a practice in Mexico where they rub silver on your teeth, and that's supposed to protect it from like tooth decay. And that shit is asinine. So basically, most of her teeth fell out of her mouth because of that.
Wow.
And I was like, damn. I was like, and she wasn't bitter. She wasn't bitter with her mom because she said that's what everybody there did. And I was just like, wow, like
And
for
yo,
you,
bro, do
what's
you
up?
know that that's a talking point in the conservative? I've heard this from conservatives and right wingers
What's that?
that we're not all right. They made the same point that I made, but they have a different mindset behind it. They're saying that there really is the people who are poor now are the richest that have ever been in human history.
Oh my God, they're saying that now?
Yes. So that's the reason why I'm saying it. I'm comparing that to the third world poor. They're saying it is like, well, why you guys want a living wage? I mean, you're basically, if you look at human history, you're richer than all of these people, all these poor people from the past.
I hope I
Think
don't forget
about
my
that.
veggie back on this. I have a huge veggie back on this. I hope I don't forget it. Go ahead, continue.
Think about that. Anything to justify keeping the status quo because it benefits them. It's like people love talking about winners and losers. Like you ask, if you always ask the winners, do you think that there should be winners and losers? Of course they're going to say yeah, because you're
Hmm.
a winner.
Right,
If
right.
you're a loser, you're not going to be saying that. If you're losing, if you're at the butt end of the society, you're not going to be saying, yeah, well, that's just the way it goes. I'm just a loser.
Nah, you're gonna say
I,
I think it should be equal. God
thank
damn
you.
it, y'all don't be spreading shit around, you know.
Thank you.
Word up.
So you see how all of
Word
this
up.
is relative. It all depends on what your position is. If
Right,
you have a high position in this society, you tend to. I won't say 100% because me and you ain't on that. Like
right,
me and you can live comfortably and not even think about this Black Power shit.
right.
If you really want to be honest about it.
100%.
But what we are
100%.
doing is we're looking at real wealth.
Right.
What does it mean to be wealthy? I'm not talking about the type of wealth where you have a negative news cycle and you lose billions. Hint, hint.
Mm. Right.
I'm not talking about the type of wealth. How many white billionaires do you see on social media complaining about being oppressed?
Hmm.
How many white billionaires can get their wealth taken from them in a matter of hours?
Hmm.
Like if you can have your wealth taken away from you because of a negative news cycle, you never had wealth to begin with.
Hmm.
Aliko Dangote could get caught in a hotel with a stripper. He will not lose 1 ounce of his wealth.
Yo, and you know what? Oh my God. Our good brother Brian had posted this the other day. I've seen
Mhm.
it, and this is something else we need to talk about. We are so crazy in the way we do things here in America as black people that we will start a fucking GoFundMe because Kanye West is not a billionaire to put him back as a billionaire.
Right, because
And,
him being a billionaire helps us.
right, right.
That's the
And
mindset.
what they'll say is representation matters. That's the funniest fucking new
Wow.
talking point. That's the funniest new talking point on the planet because remember they was using that with Holly Berry with the mermaid thing. They were
Hmm.
saying like, I seen conscious woman, son, say this. I wasn't about it until I saw the little girls. Yo, son, listen. I said to myself, I said, oh my God, you're telling me that we are losing that much and getting our ass kicked that much that is a win to you? But I want to go back to something that you said earlier because I had an experience when I was younger. My very first locksmith job, I had a friend. He was a white dude that was in the office. He was the secretary. I'm a technician, so we would very often talk about sports and things like that because pretty much that's the only thing we had in common to talk about. So long story short, one day he brought up the fact that there were certain people that were lobbying for more black people to be owners. And you know what this nigga had the nerve to say to me, son? He goes, "Let me ask you something, Dawood. When is enough going to be enough for y'all?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I'm just saying, like, the NFL is already 75% black, and now you guys want to be owners. When is enough going to be enough?" And I looked at him, that was a job, so I really couldn't go ham.
Hmm.
And I was like, I can't believe you actually have the fucking nerve to ask. But you know what I had to say to myself? In his mind, that makes sense.
Right.
In his mind, you should know your place. You should wait for your people to get up, which they keep selling us. Just like in Christianity, Jesus is supposed to come back. Just like you know what I'm saying, in Islam, there's supposed to be a resurrection. All of these specific events that are not specific at all, that you're supposed to hope for while we cracking the whip on your ass and making you work harder. So therefore, to him, we were out of pocket because the natural order of things is one day black people will be in a position, in a much better position. Y'all just need to wait y'all turn. Meanwhile, 99% of the owners in NFL, if not 100%, are what color? They're all white. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Most of the general managers are what color? They're all white. Every position of power is held by somebody else. But you got the nerve to ask us, well, when is enough enough? Enough is enough when we get to control shit too,
But
asshole. It's
but it
been
makes
years.
it makes sense though because it reminds me of that. You know what that guy who said that to you reminds me of? You remember that movie Gladiator?
Yep.
Am I not merciful?
Right. Right.
And they talk about this in the Art of War, in
Mm-hmm.
the 48 Laws of Power too. Rich people love feeling magnanimous. And that's the reason why you'll hear them say stuff like ungrateful or whatever, because they feel like whatever crumbs that you get, you should be thankful. You should be on your knees, beg, like, oh my God, thank you so much for what you've done for me.
Right.
That's how they feel.
Right. Right.
And that's what that guy sounds like. Somebody who just totally on top of things and entitled.
You know, and I want to add something to that. Being a person that teaches domestic violence classes and in the domestic violence realm, that is 90% of the time the user's mentality. You lucky I really don't whip your ass. Me just giving you a black eye is showing you mercy. That's a fucked up mentality.
Yep.
And dudes really have that mentality. You know, I really could have whipped your ass really bad. So me just slapping you is mercy. You need to be thankful.
Right.
And now what the fuck kind of twisted mentality is that?
Yeah, that's a position of power.
Right.
They have power over that woman, and
Right.
that power dynamic. So, like, you know, you lucky to just be alive. I could kill you.
Exactly. 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 You know what I'm
And
saying?
you think you're gonna do better? You know,
Yep.
that does it sound familiar?
Yep. Yep.
That's a
Yep.
power dynamic.
It most certainly is. And
But
the
I know
dude,
you. I'm sorry. You said
go
that
ahead.
you had to go though, right? Like at
I do.
9.
Yeah, I definitely
Okay, so
do.
we got like
Man,
9 minutes left. 9 minutes
wow,
left.
this went fast.
Yeah.
Wow, we started at
Wanted to let you know.
7:45. Yo, what y'all don't understand out there in the crowd, this is a normal conversation between me and Hollop.
Yep.
This is a normal conversation on the phone between me and Hollop. The only thing is missing is movies, comics, and other stuff like that. But this is a normal conversation that we having. And that's why the time went so fast, because I feel like I'm driving to a job and I'm talking to Hollop. The only difference is the phone ain't hanging up every 5 seconds. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because usually I'd be like, hello, 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 because I go into a bad area or whatever. But this is a normal conversation that we have at least once every 2 weeks for like 2-3 hours. We talk like this because this is where we're at. This is where our hearts are at. You know what I'm saying? I want to let y'all know, Baio, y'all may not see me, but you can hear in my voice. I'm still here. I'm still
Yeah.
here.
And let me
You know
give
what I'm
this man
saying?
his flowers right now, because I've lost too many people, and you know it's like, although I don't think that there's anybody that I didn't give flowers to when they were here.
Right.
I
Yeah,
can
you do.
honestly say that.
You
But
do.
I love this dude. I
Likewise,
love this
bro.
dude, and I always tell him he's the more mature version of me. I try to learn as much as I can from him.
That is not true, y'all. I call Hollop for dating advice, financial advice, success advice, and all that stuff. So that is not true. I'm humbled and I'm honored, but you know what I'm saying? Like that is my, no matter where my life goes or how it goes, that is my brother for life. You know what I'm saying? And we've been doing this BL thing for years, bro. For
Yeah,
years, we've been contributing monthly to the account since like what, 2016, 2014, I should say.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like, you know, and that's just the normal thing. Like I tell people all the time, I still believe in nationhood. I still believe black people should have their own, you know what I'm saying? Their own nation. I always believe that. Because for the simple fact of I just don't ever think that we're really going to, you and I and all of you out there in the crowd, you guys are used to working against the pressure and the stress of being a black person in America. When do we give another generation a life without that fucking stress and that pressure? That is the question. When do we do that? I am
And I
so
got the
used.
answer. I got
Sure,
the
go ahead.
answer. We can do it now,
Right,
right now.
right,
Like
right. The only thing we
the solution to our problems are right in front of our face, and things that we can do and concentrate on right now. This is not a long process. It's not 100 years. I've heard people say it's gonna be 100 years before. I'm like, motherfucker, you must be out of your mind. No, it's immediate.
Yep,
Right now, tomorrow, we can do what we have to do if we make the decision to fucking do it.
yep, yep. Without a
And if
doubt.
you want to know what we're talking about, join the BAIO.
Yes.
The link has been strolling right past you this whole live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Join the fucking group. Get amongst
Mm-hmm.
people who actually want to do something, that want socioeconomic and political power for their people, and
Mm-hmm.
come into the mix and bring your talent into the mix, bring your skills into the mix, We have to work together, because if we don't work together, we are going to die apart.
Yep. Period.
Whether you're a millionaire, a billionaire, or not.
That's another thing these deaths should show you. All of these deaths should show you that it doesn't matter how much money you got, you can get it here in America. You
Yep.
can get it. And the last thing I guess I want to talk to you about real quick is, have you seen what happened to the Math Hoffa show, son?
In terms of popularity?
No, son. There was a big breakup.
What? No.
Yes, he's still doing this show, but what happened is three of the dudes, including the dude that was doing the editing, they went rogue. See, this is I'm trying to build
Oh my
a
God.
yeah, I'm trying to build a groundswell for something we need to talk about, and I'll hang around for this whole conversation. But the thing is, so here's what happened. I woke up one day and I get on the YouTube and it goes, what you call, Math Hoffa goes Beyonce on Choke No Joke's channel. You know, Choke No Joke used to be the videographer for Dame Dash. So I'm subscribed to him and he be putting you on game, but really this nigga just be gossiping. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really listen to a lot of his live streams because I don't really care what the third toe on Beyonce's foot used to look like back in 1990. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, he's going hard on math and how math ain't this, that, and next thing. Math calls into the show. So apparently what happened was three dudes went on Instagram, they went live, and they was dogging Math, saying that there was problems with the money and all this other stuff. So Math came on and he addressed it. So basically, hint, hint, college Genesis, basically what happened is these three dudes decided that they wanted to do their own show. And Math kept telling them, my nigga, I put y'all on. Y'all got famous because of my name. Why don't you do a show? But it's gonna sound familiar, Hollip, under our umbrella. That's what that man said. He said, I want y'all to do a show under the umbrella. He signed them the contracts, and the contract said you can't do your own show, you can't compete, right? You can't compete against me. And every day they was like, listen, you guys got talent. When you gonna start your show? He would always ask them, when you gonna start your show? So basically what happened was niggas went rogue. First of all, Hollip, niggas took his equipment and extorted him, tried to charge him $100,000 to get his equipment back. Can you believe that?
Are we talking about these on-camera dudes or these behind the scene?
Yo, what you call it? The on-camera dudes.
Wow. This must have recently happened.
It just dropped this week, son. It just dropped this week.
That is so unfortunate.
It really is. Go ahead. So the dude Esso, the dude Heineken, and the dude, they call him Space Ghost, I guess, but he does the editing and he films the show. Those three dudes conspired to make their own show. Not only did they have their own show, but they started having guests on the show that wanted to be on Math Hoffa's show. Niggas diverted them to their own show. Sound familiar?
Wow.
Hint, hint, cough, dynast. So what ended up happening was Math saw the clips go up because it's on YouTube. These niggas are so stupid. How you thought you was gonna get away with that? I have no idea. So Math started seeing the clips go up, and he said to them, "Yo, what's up with the show, son?" The niggas extorted Math and said, "We got your equipment. We'll give it back to you if you give us $100,000." Math was paying these dudes every week, and he was giving them $3,500 bonuses, bro. 35. Do you know what the fuck an average man could do with $3,500? He was giving them $3,500 bonuses, and he still went rogue. So basically, he kicked them off, and they had their show for 2 months. I didn't know about it. Did you?
No.
Of course you didn't. So what ended up happening is because they didn't get the views and the popularity, they started attacking Math for more for more popularity. And Math was like, look, I never talked about them because I figured, well, you niggas go your way, we'll go our way, and best of luck to you. But they couldn't build anything, so they started attacking Math. So they put out this rumor, and they said that Math was offered $2.7 million by Revolt TV to take his show over there. And that wasn't true. And Math was like, what are you niggas doing? I still live in the hood. Like, I live in a nice place, but I live in the hood. If you rolling or you going online telling people that I make $2.7 million, I'm the next rapper that's going to die. You know what I'm saying? And apparently there was no deal like that on the table. There was no $2.7 million. So I bring that up to say this, my nigga, when you decide you want to do your own shit, when you decide that you want to, you know what I'm saying, focus on this or focus on that, and BAIO is not sufficient for me. Y'all got flaws in there, so I want to start my own group. I want to start my own thing, and blah 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 blah. This is going to continue happening as long as we're in America.
Yeah.
Point blank. Because the bottom line is, you could get mad at Heineken, Esso, and Space Ghost, but Heineken, Esso, and Space Ghost have learned how to be a black man in America, and that is, you look out for yourself. You don't look out for nobody else. That's the bottom line.
That is so crazy that you're telling me this. Because and the reason why is because just a hot minute ago, I was giving these guys props. I like basically math, because I don't know the rest of these cats. But I was saying Math Hoffa did what I've been telling dudes to do for the longest. And he did, and his format is fucking fire.
It is. It is, yep.
The fact that he did it in a barber shop, I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
No, yep. And the crazy part is that nobody ever thought to do that.
Nope.
Because that's the environment that most black men feel the most comfortable in.
Exactly.
So you see that on screen, you're like, oh shit, this is like me going to get my cut, and we start talking about politics and all this stuff. That's the environment that he created. And what he did, and this, keep in mind, Math was just a battle rapper. Battle rappers don't make no money.
Exactly.
So he found himself a nice thing. It was a smart idea. And I was giving him props. I'm like, this dude is smart. I've been telling these rappers to do this for the longest, and he actually went out and did it and developed a really on fire platform. I had no idea any of this shit was going on, but it doesn't surprise me.
The show is not over. You know what I'm saying? He's going to continue to do.
Well, of course not. Yeah,
right. But it's just these three dudes right here. They're off the show now, and to me, I'm like, I look at that shit. I'm like, damn, son, you was giving them $3,500 bonuses, and they still stuck a knife in your back.
Yeah.
Who the fuck can you trust nowadays?
There is no honor among thieves.
Right.
And this is the thing. And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned this, because there was some idiot who was on our live stream who said that he doesn't want to be down with the BAIO because the BAIO has integrity.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
In other words, he's saying, oh, well, if you show me that you have integrity, that means that you're too weak because you ain't willing to do what it takes. You got to get dirty and da da da. I wonder how he would feel being amongst these guys. This would be right up his alley, right? You got a bunch of dudes that you think is down with the cause. In the meantime, they only looking out for themselves. Those are the type of people you want to surround yourself with. No, thank you. I'd rather have the woo. I'd rather have the data.
You know what though, son? Niggas like that are fake gangsters anyway.
Exactly.
You're trying to act like you're some like remember Xavier St. Thomas?
Yeah.
Back in the day? That nigga was acting like he was some special forces operative and shit like that.
And I wonder what he's doing now.
Probably the same shit. I was going through my block list and shit, because sometimes I do just to see how my prisoners are doing. And I seen that I seen that nigga's name. He got the same profile picture he had when we bounced that nigga out the BIO, son. Mm-hmm. The same profile picture. I was like, I bet you are still creating fake groups and judging who's real black and who's not real black. Still to this day.
Yeah. None of these people who went against us are breaths of the great. None of them are doing shit.
Exactly. Especially
and here, let me show you something, man. To get back to wait a minute. Let me show you that. I got to show you this. Hold on 1 second. And I hope this brother is listening, because I'm going to give him a shout out. This is somebody who's been kind of going back and forth with us for years. His name is KM Amponsa, AMPONSA. And he posted in the Black African Infrastructure Organization group on Facebook. This is what he said. I tapped out and accepted that the BAIO is all that makes sense right now.
Damn.
And there it is.
That's what's up. Now, who else is making sense? Nobody else.
Thank you.
Nobody else. The black movement got hijacked by the gender war, which is an excellent distraction. It's an excellent distraction. And everybody has gone over there. So really, if you're not talking that gender war nonsense, it's hard for you to get a groundswell, because that is what people are thinking about. And the crazy thing about it is, is y'all don't understand that the answer to the gender war is not black men winning or black women winning. The answer is change your context. That is
Yep.
the answer. If you do not change your context, you will be going to war for 3, 4, 500 years. It's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? When they had the Civil War, you have the Revolutionary War. What did they do? In the Revolutionary War, they were fighting for who was going to own this territory. That was a worthy battle. It was. No matter if you look at it from the black point of view, the Native American point of view, or the white point of view, that was a worthy battle because territory, land is very fucking important. If y'all don't know that by now, y'all need to go to some other live stream. That's what you need to do. Okay? Then they had the Civil War, which would be the more dominant group and people who control the consciousness. To me, that was important also. It was important for white folks, okay? Not for us, for white folks. So certain things that you look at in history, if you look at it from a different point of view, it really makes sense. If you look at it the way they're teaching you it in school, it doesn't make sense because they're just teaching you that it was a war, we had the war, it was over, and blah, 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 blah. But it is necessary, first of all, to have territory, and then it is necessary, but even though you don't have to fight, to determine what field or what stream of consciousness will rule the land. And that's why when people used to call conscious community people hotepers and all that other stuff, I was against that. Because I think it's necessary, not for us to duke it out and argue it out, but it's necessary for us to agree on what kind of consciousness will rule the land. And I think that the spiritual stuff, the metaphysical stuff, the financial stuff, and the sexual stuff, as well as the health stuff, the conscious community had a lot of elements of it that was good. It's just that it was ran by niggas. That was the problem. And niggas only look out for themselves, unfortunately.
Yeah, the street culture don't mix with the nationalist culture. It just does not mix.
Right.
And that's another one of those half truths that conservatives talk about. They concentrate on the culture war, and they hyper focused on the thugs and all this other stuff. It's a half truth. Because you're focusing on that, but you're not hyper focused on controlling that. Because it's just like, I look at the thing like this. It's like a scientist getting mad at a lab rat.
Right.
You created the conditions in which that lab rat exists. If you want that lab rat to behave a certain way, you have to change the context that it exists in. It's just like that.
Exactly.
What they say about crabs in a barrel. They go, the black folks is like crabs in a barrel. Well, a barrel is not the natural environment for crab.
Exactly.
change the environment, and then the crabs won't be pulling each other down.
Yo, that is what's never been said all of these years. What's never been said is that the barrel is not the fucking natural environment of the crab. Of course he's gonna fight because he's fighting for his survival. And you're in his way. That's just the bottom line. You're in her way. That's the bottom line. So we probably, you know what I'm going to say to you? I'm going to be Rhodey and you're going to be Iron Man. I think you should have led with that. Is that the end
we
of
live
Iron
and
Man
learn.
2?
We live and learn.
At the end of Iron Man 2 is all of these robots trying to attack him. He says, Rhodey, get down. And he goes with this laser beam that kills all of the robots. And he says, I think that you should have led with that. Word up. That is the mic drop of what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, well, that's good. We can put a button on it then. It's like 9:09. It's been an honor, brother. Thank you, because I could not have done this without you.
Likewise, the honor was all mine. That's why I even though I didn't make it Sunday, I wanted to reschedule because I really wanted to have this conversation.
Yep. Oh, look at what. Let's put up Black Hatchet Productions. He says, "Didn't you know if you put kittens in the oven, they are naturally biscuits?"
Right.
Peace to that, brother. And we're gonna make it to you, bro. I know you live in far off, but we are going to make it to you, and we are going to go to your restaurant. Trust. I'm saying this openly and live. We're gonna come and holler at you.
That's my brother, though.
Yeah.
Yo, he is legit funny. Funny.
He's my spirit animal. That's what I say.
Word up.
Anyway, y'all.
Before I go
ahead.
That was my layup for you. When I put up that meme and said, customer service people should be able to fight one person a day. I know you wish that was a rule, because
Oh
goddamn.
yeah, it's been brutal. It's been brutal.
I love you, bro.
Love you too, man, and love the rest of y'all. Thank you for tuning in with us, and we'll holler at you later.
Peace.
Peace.